everything's sending.
Okay. That's a good sign.
Mm-hmm. And I can see that we're connected on Facebook. We're sending data to YouTube. I'm doing a little bit of experiment in the fact that I am also sending information to the Glocker Realty and Insurance YouTube channel.
Somebody said it was black dog.
Yeah, I'll take a picture. Birds gonna make you sting. Thank you.
You're good at helping me clean up my.
Yeah.
Helping me clean up my fridge. All right. Thank you. So that was Black Dog, for those of you that didn't know.
Led Zeppelin.
Yes, because I saw today, Sheila posted that it's National Black Dog Day.
National Black Dog
I
Day.
don't have a dog, let alone a black
Who?
dog.
Listen, I have a question. Who
makes up this
Who
stuff?
makes up all this stuff? Like, who decides that it's going to be National Black Dog Day? And do any of these organizations ever work together to collaborate? Like, I would like, because there's a hot dog day, but there's also a beer day. You would seem to be that the hot dog people and the beer people would work together. National Hot Dog and Beer Day.
Right.
Just saying.
And put Pretzel Day in there while you're at it.
Put Pretzel Day in there. Well, have you ever seen those, they have those, and you may not see them because this kind of stuff is probably not on the Wolf Family shopping
my
list.
radar. Yeah.
But they
it's
have,
going to be a pork product here.
yes, they have the Yingling beer brats. So it's beer brats made with Yingling beer.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Maybe if they hooked up with Hebrew National, then maybe I'd be on board with that.
Maybe. So people will have to tell us how our microphone situation is. I did get some help yesterday from Amy Morazes. I think that's how she pronounces her name. And we overcame some of the challenges that we were having. And then today, I plugged into the system and realized that we never tested our audio system with more than one microphone. So I can arm one of our analog DSL mics.
Beautiful mics.
Yes. DSR, DSLR, SLR, the SLR microphones. But I can't arm two tracks at the same time. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So we're back to the Yeti mic.
That's okay.
Which isn't bad. It's not the best sound. It's not the worst sound.
It was the best of sound.
It was the worst of sound.
It was neither of those.
The positive. Yeah.
Can you see my level when I'm talking?
Yes, I can. So we're on the same band. So
Okay.
I can see that it's moving.
All
Now as normal, I'm moving the meter a little bit higher and a little bit further.
You're pushing that needle a little bit further.
Yes.
All right.
So,
But don't
we
worry,
should.
I'll get excited. I'll get excited and my sound will be fine. The picture looks great. I'm
Yeah.
having an exceptional hair day, I think.
Good. I killed my phone. Did you see what I did to my phone?
Yeah, it looks pretty bad.
It's bad.
Yeah. So do you need something to read the comments on?
I can read the comments on here, and I might now that I
keep
know
up with them.
I know that OBS is working. So actually, I can click out of OBS
Oh boy.
and go over to
Just
Facebook.
open up to the
Yeah.
interwebs.
Yep. Open up to the
and watch
interwebs,
it? All
and
right.
then go right onto there.
All right. Well, hello, Scott. Hello, Gail. Hello, Jeff Frederick. Thank you for tuning in.
And it looks like the stream is going.
Yeah,
And there are some people giving us thumbs up and
Good.
other things.
that's good. And you got the logos up there?
I do got the logos up there.
Excellent.
And what we're going to do is, as the conversation progresses, I'm going to switch back over to OBS and I'm going to put up Amy's logo because I promised her that that's what I would do.
Not this Amy.
Not you, Amy.
Right.
The other Amy.
Yeah, so Amy's business is, she does, what does she do?
She's a video coach and video producer, so she can
Okay.
help you
So
with your
with this kind of
videography needs. Yes. So, and she's a video editor, and she's specializing in live streaming and things of that nature. So, her first market that she went into was with churches at her own church, and is now using the experiences that she's gaining setting up that kind of stuff to help businesses and organizations set up to meet their live streaming and video conferencing needs.
Well, I don't know what her timing was, but it was probably pretty good with the church business, because a lot of houses of worship were doing live streaming during COVID,
Right.
while they weren't having in-person services. Now, from what I understand, there was never a restriction on churches
For in
for
person.
in-person,
Okay.
because what does that fall under? What
That would be
the
the
First
First
Amendment?
Amendment
The First
to the
Amendment?
U.S. and the Pennsylvania Constitution.
Yes, but I think it was strongly recommended
Right.
that churches not be holding in-person services.
Right.
So a lot of houses of worship were streaming in order to be able to bring their
To do what they wanted to do.
Yeah,
That beard's
to-
a little funny.
fill their congregants' spiritual needs. Hey, speaking of the Constitution,
Yeah, that crazy Constitution.
speaking of the Pennsylvania Constitution, so here's what was in the paper today. This was a big public notice, right?
Oof.
So there's a big public notice
Yeah.
with proposed amendments to the Constitution of Pennsylvania, right?
Whew. Yeah.
So that is one of the purposes, or one of the services that local publications fill, is like when there's a proposed amendment to the Constitution of Pennsylvania, it's got to be publicly posted someplace.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
The same with legal notices, like township notices, sheriff sales, estate notices, all of those things, name changes, adoptions, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That have to get publicly posted, and the newspaper serves that need. So what happens when these newspapers get all used up and thrown away by the venture capitalists that are buying newspapers like the Mercury and other local papers?
I'm not
How-
much for conspiracy theories, but
Right.
it does seem to be a little bit of maybe an effort there to undermine our democracy.
and to undermine the free flow of information to the public,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
how is that? Is there a online equivalent to public notice like this? I'm just
I don't
asking
know.
a
I mean,
question. I don't know, but when
you
I saw
d-
this in the paper, we've talked about this a lot on the show about
Yeah.
the death of the free press and how vital the free press is to our country, and especially in small towns, or particularly in small towns.
Right.
But what happens to all of this stuff if the local newspaper goes away? How do we know? How do we know about? There's mosquitoes getting in. They should be gone, the mosquitoes, this time of year. So anyway, there's a lot of changes being proposed to the Constitution of Pennsylvania. I will admit that I glanced at it, and it was a little bit overwhelming. But there was some voting situation in here, something about the lieutenant governor. So I haven't waded through all of it, but that is an important function of local papers, is to publish all of that information.
I think that one of the issues too is that these in order to amend the U.S. Constitution, you have to have what's called a constitutional convention, and then by a vote of 3/4, I think it's 2/3, they have to vote to open up the Constitution for amendment.
Yeah, it's
Now-
not like an easy gig, right?
Here's the problem: we have a situation where we're so bipartisan, and the Republican Party has made specific efforts in order to block legislation. I mean, look, right now they're sitting on over 400 bills that have passed through the House. They're not bringing them to a vote because they don't match up with Mitch McConnell and the Republican Party's agenda.
Right.
So you could
So they
imagine
just
what would
keep-
happen
they
if we
just
had a
keep, like-
constitutional convention in a situation where the Republican Party has a stranglehold on the process in the Senate.
Right.
I don't think we'd want that happening.
No. No. So what happens to those 400 bills? They just sit there?
They're going to sit there. The way the rules of Senate are now, that's what they do. They've manipulated those rules of Senate to do what they need to do. They're proposing that they might make some changes.
What?
William Paul Barogli,
We
Esquire.
have a walk-by. Thank you.
A walk-by.
That was awfully nice. Stealthily.
There are some proposed changes to the rules, and if you look at some of the things that, for instance, the Democrats and Joe Biden want to do, they have been talking about some of these rule changes that they want to make if they can shift the balance of power. Hopefully, those rule changes would be fair.
Well, I mean, this is like a greater, philosophical question, but there should the stuff shouldn't just be sitting there because it doesn't align with, Mitch McConnell, what he wants to go through and what he doesn't want to go through.
No single party should have the power and the control that they do.
Right.
And for instance, if you go back and look at the farewell address, George Washington's farewell address, I believe that the date on it is September 19th, 1797. And in that farewell address, he warns about these parties and these factions that could take hold and thwart the democratic process and take away the voice of the people. Now, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
He uses 18th century language,
Right.
but that's basically what he's talking about.
That was a shell.
Unscrupulous people who would put party before country.
Right.
And
So he knew, even
he-
back then at the founding of the country, that these situations could happen.
Sure.
And
Here we are.
And here we are.
So that's what bothers me about constitutional conventions and changing the Constitution. I think our two-party system is just out of balance in order to allow that to happen fairly. And we've lost sight of what a real oath to the country is. It doesn't mean what it did when George Washington was leading the presidency. We see now people are saying the exact opposite things of things they had just said 4 years ago. I mean, and I hate to talk about these people, and we normally don't do this on Porchcast, but look at what Lindsey Graham said in 2016. You could use my words against me.
Right.
He prefaced his whole statement
Right.
to go on about how Barack Obama couldn't nominate a Supreme Court justice. Now, 4 years later, he is saying the exact same thing, and when you challenge him, well, you said to us you could use a word. Well, it's different now.
Right.
Changed.
Yes. The
I don't find that
hypocrisy
very
is-
honorable.
No.
There's no integrity in that.
If one of them had said, "Hey, listen, I know what I said 4 years ago," and own up to it, like if they would just say, "Hey, listen,"
It's
do a
still no
little-
good.
I know I said this. That was really a schmuck thing to say, because now I'm gonna say another schmuck thing and change my mind.
Right. No bueno.
No bueno at all. My brother says that all the time. Oh,
I
gosh.
can't see new people coming into the show.
No, your video is blocked. It can't be viewed in 4 locations. What does that mean?
The video is blocked.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because we played that Led Zeppelin.
Rights holder has taken action on your video from page Matt Green at Clever Real Estate because it may contain music. So does that mean that your video matches 33 seconds of audio? Dang! Damn you, Jimmy Page! So does that mean it's not happening?
I knew
Do we
eventually.
need to start over?
No, I don't know. I knew that eventually that was going to.
So it says make sure you only post content that you own.
Okay.
So it says accept.
Uh huh. Well, are you on the live stream?
I was. What's happening?
Go back and see if you can get on
Okay,
it.
so
we
here I
might.
am now. It says it's blocked. I think we need to start over.
Okay. I kept seeing. I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Oh my god, man. Sorry about that. All right. Let's go.
We got in trouble. Amy and I got in trouble.
Immediately. But Matt, like, how many times have we played songs? We just played Jethro Tull the other day. Right?
Yeah.
All
Yes.
right. Welcome
Yes.
back, folks. All right, I gotta get back on the show.
The Facebook and YouTube gods shut us down,
Shut us
man.
right down.
You talk about the long arm of the law,
Wow,
man.
it
It
was
reached right into the show.
That's fast. All right, did you start it up again?
I
don't
did.
see
I
it.
did.
Okay.
I did. Hold on. Let me go to the more videos. Yeah, it should be back up. Can you see it now? I'm getting people saying, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?"
All right, I'm not getting that. I don't see it. There it is. All right. Is that the right one? All right, there it is. Oh, that's good. Now I'm totally messed up. I talked for 15 minutes to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, we really need some outside input. Like, text message Deb.
But that's why I was texting.
We'll text her again and say, did we come back on?
She said, "Oh no, I think I'm just going to go to the pub."
Okay. What I'm going to do is, I'm just going
Is it
to.
not letting us live at all because we
I don't know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over to OBS